The man bun was very popular, and then poof, it's erased from pop culture. Let's talk about the man bun. You remember that style? It had a chokehold on almost every culture around the world, every age from young to old, from the 20 teens until about the early 2000s, a very short-lived period of time. The man bun was very popular, and then poof, it's erased from pop culture. Yes, there are still some people who are wearing the man bun, and no shade to those people, but it seems to grew really fast and then it disappeared. So what is a man bun? A man bun is typically long hair on a man that is pulled up on top of the head and worn pretty much right at the top of the crown or forward or back. It is usually seen from the front. When you're looking at someone front on, you see the knot of hair, the bun, on the top of their hair. Pretty much a hairstyle that's typically known by the granny types or women wearing a bun on the top of their head. But men started to adopt this style in that period from the late teens to the early 2000s. And have we seen the man bun in any point in culture along the way? Yes, long hair has been popular on men throughout the centuries. You can go back to the Bible, you can see Samson, known for his long hair and actually contained his strength in his obedience. But Samson had long hair. You can go back in antiquity, see statues with long hair. You can see paintings throughout history of men wearing long hair. Was the man bun popular? No, I scoured the internet looking for antiquity photographs, antiquity statues, anything that would show a man wearing a bun on the top of his head, and nothing appears. Some say that Vikings might have worn the man bun, but there's no evidence of it. And even when the corpses of Vikings were exhumed, they were typically wearing braids, long hair, but not necessarily wearing a man bun. So throughout history, long hair has been worn down. If anything, it is pulled back in a low ponytail. So that's practicality of having long hair. You got to get it out of your face. I know that from a fact. So throughout history, yes, long hair and worn in ponytails. And that would take us into the 20th century, into the 60s, where you saw men for the first time in America really rocking long hair as a fashion. I wouldn't even say it's that many people, the hippies, young people, and who grew their hair long enough to actually get it into a ponytail. It really wasn't that many people. But men wore their hair long, and to get it out of the way, they might have adorned it with a headband or pulled it into a low pony, but for the most part, they were not rocking a man bun. Moving to the 80s, this is the era that I came to age in. I actually saw in person and all over magazines at the time and all over MTV, the likes of Attila, who was a model at the time. He had fabulous long hair. It had all the women in my circle just drooling with his incredibly long hair. Not a man bun in the pictures. Hardly even a ponytail in the pictures. At the same time, also, there was Fabio. Yes, you can't believe it's not butter Fabio. He had long hair also, almost never in a ponytail, and certainly never in a man bun. Marcus Schleckenberg, a model at the time, also known for his Versace ads. Long hair, hardly a ponytail, never a bun. Very typical at the time. Why were men so afraid of wearing the bun at the time? I don't know. Inspired by these guys, from Attila to Fabio to Marcus, I would let my own hair grow long in the 80s, and I grew it really long. I had it down to mid-chest, and I would wear it in a low pony. And so it was practicality of getting the long hair out of my face. I would pull it back, wear it in a low pony. Fast forward into the 20-aughts, and you would see for the first time the man bun making an appearance. You would, of course, see it on the hipster. You would see a lot of men growing their hair long for the first time, and they would start wearing a man bun. I have a couple of things that suggest why the man bun became popular. Like other hairstyles in the same period, it was because of social media. The word got out. So if you saw one random guy wearing a man bun on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, the like, YouTube, it seemed to give other people the freedom to go ahead and try that. The second reason I see is that there is generally more acceptance of a hairstyle that was typically only seen on grannies, on women wearing their updos to the gym or whatever, plowing their hair on the top of their heads. So there was generally a greater acceptance of a hairstyle that would have typically been seen more as the style of a woman. I think one of the reasons that it became more popular is because the majority of men, a lot of the men sporting a man bun, also would be wearing a beard. So there is no mistaking you for grandma if you have a man bun and you are wearing a beard. In that category, in that time period, one of the main guys who pushed the man bun was a guy named Brock O'Hearn. He was all over TV at the time. He was on all of the talk shows. He was on social media demonstrating how to wear a man bun. Good looking guy, gorgeous hair, and then all of a sudden wearing a man bun, showing the effortless technique that he had to actually pile the hair up on top of his head. A lot of men started growing their hair during the pandemic, and that is my third reason why I think men started wearing the man bun. I would make it about maybe 9 months into the pandemic before I would cut my hair. But a lot of guys were in-house, could not go to a barbershop, were not going into an office, and for the first time had the freedoms to not only grow a beard, but also to wear a man bun. You see a lot of guys at this period of 2020, 2021, wearing the undercut man bun, where you actually shave the sides and you shave the back of the head in order to basically get the thing going faster. It takes a long time to get the hair from the nape of the neck up to the midpoint on the top of your head. So that could be almost 15, 18 months of worth of growth. If you don't have time for that, what happened was a lot of guys were undercutting the sides and the back in order to get the hair on the top of the head. Why did men stop wearing the man bun? I actually think because of the more exaggerated look of the undercut man bun. Yes, it can actually look good. Once again, no shade on guys who are still wearing this hairstyle. But when you actually cut out the sides and the back of your hair, you are getting rid of about 50% or more of the hair that would contribute to volume on the top of a man bun. So I had really long hair. All of it went up. I had no undercutting. Brock had no undercutting. A lot of the guys wearing bigger top knots, including the likes of Trav White. You actually can see on Beardbrand Alliance, we made a number of videos. Trav and I together, we both had fairly long hair. We were pretty much neck and neck in terms of length. And we showed how to style a man bun, how to wear long hair. You know, a lot of guys who were wearing the undercut were actually contributing to less hair and making the top knot on the top of their heads significantly smaller. A lot of people would refer to the man bun at this time more as the samurai knot, or, you know, a Viking knot. And so when you see this little knob on the top of your head, as opposed to this really loose volume of hair, I think that contributed to actually the demise of the cut. Frankly, I just personally don't think it looks as good as when you pull all of the hair up. But that takes a lot of time. You need to wait probably at least 18 months, 20, 24 months to get all of the hair to the length where you can actually put it up on the top of your head. It was seen as something that was very trendy, and it actually, as quickly as it came into play, it quickly went out. And I think because of men taking the shortcut. Pandemic was one of the major reasons why it came in. And I think actually the pandemic is one of the reasons why it went out. Men went back to work. They went back to an office. The fun was over, and they would cut their hair short again for the most part. Yes, the beard survived the pandemic, but the long hair and the top knots for most people did not survive the pandemic. So that's it. That's the reasons why I think that a man bun went away. Will it go? Will it come back? I actually think it has potential to come back. I think there will be times where men, and because trend cycles happen much quicker today, you will see men growing their hair longer. I do not think the book is closed on the man bun. I think for the next 5 years or so, probably not. Only time will tell. Do you think that the man bun will make a reappearance? I'd like to hear your comments, and as always,